personality Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial.
Text 5. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivreta kamaha dvanver vimukta sukha dukha samnir gachanti amuda padama vyayam tat.
Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender onto the Supreme Person, attain that eternal kingdom.
Text 6. Natad pasayati suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yan gatvana nivartante taddama paramam mama.
That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by fire, electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world.
Text 7. Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manam sastani indriyani prakriti stani karshati.
The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind.
Text 8. Shariram yad avapnoti yachapi utgramit tashvaraha gritvaitani samyati vayurgandan ivashayat.
The living entity in this material world carries its different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another.
Text 9. Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cham rasanam granam evacha adhishtaya manaschayam vishayan upasevate.
The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects.
Text 10. Utkramantam shitam vapi bunyanam vagunanvitam vimudananupasyanti pasyanti jnanachakshushaha.
The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in the knowledge can see all this.
Text 11. Yatanto yoginaschainam pasyanti atmani avistihtam yatanto pi akritat mano nenam pasyanti achetasaham.
The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to.
Text 12. Yad aditya gatam tejo jagat vasayate khilam yad chandramasi yachagno tatejo vidimamakam.
The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this world, this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire also from me.
Text 13. Gamma vishya cha bhutani darayami aham mojasa Pursanami cho sadi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakaha.
I entered each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life, all vegetables.
Text 14. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamastritaha Pranapana Samakyutta Pachami Anam Chaturvidam.
I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff.
Text 15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto mata smritirgyanam apohanam cha vedescha sarver ahameva vedyo vedanta krid veda vid eva chaham.
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
Text 16. Dvavimau purusho loke sharaschakshara evacha shara sarvani bhutani kutasto shara uchyate.
There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible.
Text 17. Uttama purushastvanya paramatmeti uttarataha yo lokatrayam avishya bibarti avyaya ishvaraha.
Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them.
Text 18. Yasmacharam atitoham aksharan api chotamaha atosmi loke vede cha pratita purushotamaha.
Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person.
Text 19. Yomam evam asamundo janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata.
Whoever knows me as a Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharat.
Text 20. Iti goyatmam shastram idam uktam maya naga etat buddha buddhimam syad kriti krityascha bharata.
This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection.
Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottama Yogo Nama Panchadasho Adhyayaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Pinky Mataji and Chitaleka Gopika Mataji, for that wonderful recitation. We've been reading this chapter for a few weeks now, but still it's ever fresh. That's the wonderful nature of the Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday, we dropped back to chapter 11, and we'll continue today from chapter 11 because we've now finished chapter 15. And we didn't previously finish chapter 11. Hare Krishna. So I'll say the Mangala Charanam prayers first before we recite to invoke auspiciousness. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Malitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pacharnine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschadeshatarine. So as we were discussing yesterday, text number 47 to 55 is the concluding section of chapter 11. And in one sense, it is the most relishable and instructive part of this chapter, because Lord Krishna is explaining that method, the process by which one can obtain him or see him. So this is the second verse in that wonderful sequence of verses. This is text number 48. Navedayagna jayayatnai nadanai nacha kriyabe natapo virukre evam rupa sakya ahamriloke Drashtum twadanyena kuru pravira. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Puja Mataji, are you here? Would you like to read the purport, the first two stanzas?
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The divine division in this connection should be clearly understood. Who can have divine vision? Divine means godly. Unless one attains the status of divinity as a god, demigod, he cannot have divine vision. And what is a demigod? It is stated in the Vedic scriptures that those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are demigods. Vishnu Bhaktaha Smruto Daiveha. Those who are atheistic, i.e. those who do not believe in Vishnu, or who recognize only the impersonal part of Krishna as the supreme, cannot have the divine vision. It is not possible to decry Krishna and at the same time have the divine vision. One cannot have the divine vision without becoming divine. In other words, those who have divine vision can also see like Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita gives the description of the universal form. Although this description was unknown to everyone before Arjuna, now one can have some idea of the Vishwarupa after this incident. Those who are actually divine can see the universal form of the Lord, but one cannot be divine without being a pure devotee of Krishna. The devotees, therefore, who are actually in the divine nature and who have divine vision are not very much interested in seeing the universal form of the Lord. As described in the previous verse, Arjuna desired to see the four-handed form of Lord Krishna as Vishnu, and he was actually afraid of the universal form. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Puja Mataji. Santosh Mataji, are you available to read the next two paragraphs for us, please?
Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In this verse, there are some significant words, just like Veda Yajnadhyayanai, which refers to studying Vedic literature and the subject matter of sacrificial regulations. Veda refers to all kinds of Vedic literature, such as the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva, and the 18 Puranas, the Upanishads, and the Vedanta Sutra. One can study these at home or anywhere else. Similarly, there are sutras, Kalpa Sutras, and Mimamsa Sutras for studying the method of sacrifice. Dane refers to charity, which is offered to a suitable party, such as those who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Similarly, pious activities refers to the Agnihotra and the prescribed duties of the different castes, and the voluntary acceptance of some bodily pains is called tapasya. So one can perform all these, can accept bodily penances, give charity, study the Vedas, etc. But unless he is a devotee like Arjuna, it is not possible to see that universal form. Those who are impersonalists are also imagining that they are seeing the universal form of the Lord. But from Bhagavad Gita, we understand that the impersonalists are not devotees. Therefore, they are unable to see the universal form of the Lord. There are many persons who create incarnations. They falsely claim an ordinary human to be an incarnation. But this is all foolishness. We should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, there is no possibility of attaining perfect spiritual knowledge. Although Bhagavad Gita is considered the preliminary study of the science of God, still it is so perfect that it enables one to distinguish what is what. The followers of a pseudo-incarnation may say that they have also seen the transcendental incarnation of God, the universal form, but that is unacceptable because it is clearly stated here that unless one becomes a devotee of Krishna, one cannot see the universal form of God. So, one first of all has to become a pure devotee of Krishna. Then he can claim that he can show the universal form of what he has seen. A devotee of Krishna cannot accept false incarnations or followers of false incarnations. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Santosh Mataji. So the verse again, O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. So Krishna is very clearly explaining in these verses or the sequence of verses how he can be seen. And interestingly, the Lord, he's starting off with the negative. So he's saying that in this verse he's explaining the methods or the processes by which we will fail to see him. The human life is very short. So Krishna so lovingly is telling us, please don't waste time with all of these other methods and processes. You are sure to fail. You will not be able to see me. Our acharyas explain that one of the gifts that the devotees receive is the darshan of the Lord. That is the pinnacle of the efforts of bhakti, when Lord Krishna reveals himself to his devotee. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung in one song in his book Kalyana Kalpataro. In that song, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Janama Safalatara Krishnara Darshana Yara Bhagya Hoyache Ekabara. And translated, this means his life is successful who has obtained a darshan of Krishna at least once in his life. So the devotees of Krishna, they think, my life will be successful when one day Krishna reveals his transcendental form to me. In his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami also expresses a similar statement. He says, my dear Lord, O Master of the universe, since I have directly seen you, my transcendental bliss has taken the shape of a great ocean. Being situated in that ocean, I now realize all other so-called happiness to be like the water contained in the hoofprint of a calf. And then in our contemporary times, what famous song all of us can remember where the devotee wants to see the Lord? Anyone knows? Contemporary song, famous song, top of the pops.
The George Harrison, I want to see you.
Yeah, my sweet Lord, I really want to see you.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to be with you. I really want to see you, Lord, but it takes so long, my Lord.
Lord, yeah.
So the devotee wants to see Krishna. And in these beautiful verses of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining, and we will discuss a bit more about how we should not waste our time. If we have this goal, we want to see Krishna one day. This is a perfection of my life, my vision to see Krishna. We don't want to go down the wrong path. Where after many years of attempts, it's completely. We want to, as Prabhupada says, we want to take the elevator. We don't want to take the stairs to the topmost floor. We want to go straight with the elevator. Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he used to say, don't try to see God. Act in such a way that God will want to see you. Meaning that Krishna will reveal himself to us. And this particular verse here reminds me of two very similar verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the first verse is the verse in the 7th canto, 7th chapter, spoken by Prahlad. Well, Prahlad is speaking to his friends in the school. And he tells his friends, my dear friends, O son of the demons, you cannot please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by becoming perfect Brahmanas, demigods, or great saints, or by becoming perfectly good in etiquette or vast learning. None of these qualifications can awaken the pleasure of the Lord. Nor by charity, austerity, sacrifice, cleanliness, or vows can one satisfy the Lord. The Lord is pleased only if one has unflinching, unalloyed devotion to him. Without sincere devotional service, everything is simply a show. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada uses another logic. Srila Prabhupada says, no one can see the Lord unless one is divine. To be able to see the Lord, one needs to be completely divine. And then Prabhupada says, no one can be considered divine unless they are a devotee of the Lord. Very simple logic. Sometimes Prabhupada used to say that no one can see Krishna unless one is completely pure. And in this way, one cannot be considered completely pure unless one is a devotee, because only by devotional service all of the anarthas within the heart eradicated. In the 11th canto, in the section which is known as the Bhagavad Gita, in the 12th chapter, verses 1 and 2, the Lord also says something very similar to Uddhava. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Uddhava, by associating with my pure devotees, one can destroy one's attachment for all objects of material sense gratification. Such purifying association brings me under the control of my devotee. One may perform the Ashtanga Yoga system, engage in philosophical analysis of the elements of material nature, practice non-violence and other ordinary principles of piety, chant the Vedas, perform penances, take to the renounced order of life, execute sacrificial performances, dig wells, plant trees, and perform other public welfare activities given in charity, carry out severe vows, worship the demigods, chant confidential mantras, visit holy places, or accept major and minor disciplinary injunctions. But even by performing such activities, one does not bring me under his control." Such a long list Krishna says here. Na svajaya, na tapa, na tyagya, na istaputram, na yagya, na dakshina, na vratani, na chandamsi, na titani, na niyama. Krishna gives a long list of things that people will normally do, and he said, none of these will work. And the formula Krishna gives, what will only work? If we associate with these pure devotees. And he says, such purifying association brings me under the control of my devotees. This is the method. So in this verse, Krishna is and then these verses that we've read it, don't waste your time with all of this. The most powerful is, Krishna is saying in this verse to Uddhava, is the association of his pure devotees. In the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is a nice pastime. So every night or every evening, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would gather with his associates, and they would have very ecstatic Sri Krishna Sankirtan in the house of Srivas Thakur. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would dance, and Lord Nityananda would dance, and Gadadhar Pandit would dance along the Lord. And in this way, there used to be great ecstasy. So one day, it is said there that this Sankirtan that was performed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it drowned everyone who participated in an ocean of ecstasy. And everyone became oblivious of the external world and were lost in dancing and singing the Lord's holy names. So what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to do in the evening, he used to shut the doors to the house of Srivas Thakur. And only those pure devotees or associates of the Lord were allowed to enter into this ecstatic Sankirtan. But once there was a very austere brahmachari who used to only eat fruit and drink a little milk every day. And he had a desire to observe or witness the Sankirtan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he went to Srivas Thakur and he said, he used to beg Srivas Thakur, please allow me, please, allow me. So Srivas Thakur said, here is a young brahmachari so austere, so devoted in one sense. Let me allow him. So without the knowledge of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he hid this brahmachari in one cupboard. And he told the brahmachari, you hide here. And then from here you can see through the crack, you can witness. So the one night came when the brahmachari was hiding in the cupboard. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the kirtan. He started to dance. But after a while, the Lord commented. He says, today I'm not feeling the usual ecstasy while dancing. Can any of you please explain why this may be so? And then he said, maybe someone is hiding inside the house. Please tell me the truth. Srivas Pandit became very afraid. He said, my Lord, I assure you that there is no atheist or no non-believer in this house. Only a brahmachari, a fully qualified Brahmin who is sinless and drinks only milk and eats only fruit. He had a strong desire to see you dancing. You were very right, my Lord. He is here now and he is hiding. This information enraged the Lord. And the Lord said, right now, this very moment, take him out of this house. What spiritual sadhana does he possess to enable him to see my dancing? How can he develop devotion to me by drinking milk? The Lord dramatically raised his arms and pointing his finger to make a point, he continued, just by drinking milk, no one can attain me. But even a low-caste dog-eater can claim me if he takes full shelter of me. Then I also accept him. A person may be a renunciant, a sannyasi without worldly attachments, but if he does not surrender to me, then I do not favor him. Tell me, how did Gajendra the elephant, or Hanuman the monkey, or the gopis, the simple milkmaids of Raja, attain me? What great austerities did they perform? Even the demons perform severe penances and austerities. But they are slain because they do not surrender to me. And yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making the point, if by austerities one could attain the Lord, then Hiranyakashipu and Ravan would be great devotees. Because no one performed as severe austerities as Hiranyakashipu and Ravana. Very severe austerities, but they were demons. So the Lord is saying, not by severe penances and austerities can I be, but only by surrender. And he said, I will not have any milk drinker here polluting everything. I will destroy everything. By that time, the brahmachari was trembling with fear. He came out of his concealment thinking, it has been my great good fortune to be able to see what I have seen. And I have also received the commensurate punishment for my misdeed. But what a wonderful dancing and singing I saw. A devotee thinks and feels in this way. He, being the Lord's servitor, is always willing to accept all chastisement from the Lord. And the brahmachari started to walk out of the house with these thoughts in his mind, which of course were already known to the Lord. The most merciful Lord then had the brahmachari brought back to the house. He placed his lotus feet on his head and blessed him. The blessed Lord said, do not try to gain strength by performing austerities and penances. Render loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Krishna, for it is the highest of all other activities. This is a picture of the Srivas Anga. This is near Mayapur, in Mayapur, near our ISKCON temple in Mayapur. And one can go there, hopefully one day, and visit the same place where this wonderful pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performed. So the purport of this verse and all of these instructions, it is only by devotional service. And we will read, or Krishna will explain in the subsequent verses, that what is the method by which we can see him. And this devotional service is the only means by which one can see the Lord. In the 4th canto, there's also another beautiful verse where it is said, without devotional service, what is the meaning of severe austerities? The process of hearing, the power of speech, the power of mental speculation, elevated intelligence, strength, and the power of the senses. Meaning, all of this processes, all the power of all of these different processes, they have no value without devotional service. And then to the contrary, there is this beautiful, very famous verse that is featured in the 3rd canto, 33 chapter, spoken by Lord Kapila Dev, where he says, Aho bata swapache tu gariyan, yad jivagre vartate nama tubhyam, tepus tapaste juhuvu sasnur arya, brahmanachur nama grinanti yete. And it's mentioned in this verse, oh, all glorious are they whose tongues are chanting the holy name. Even if born in the family of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. So this beautiful verse is explaining how just by this most potent form of devotional service, which is the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, how everything, the results of all other activities can be achieved, and achieved not only by elevated souls, but even one who is born in a family of dog eaters. A dog eater. Someone who even eats dogs, they can be elevated to the supreme position of devotional service simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna. And therefore Srila Prabhupada said that of all of the instructions of the spiritual master, the most important instruction is for the devotee to chant a minimum. Prabhupada said minimum, one can chant more than that, a minimum of 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. Simply by chanting this Mahamantra, one can attain all success in spiritual life. So I think it's time now, almost 8:30. I will pause here and I will take any questions and reflections. And if there is no questions and reflections, we can go through other salient points of the purport. So any questions, reflections, comments?
I'm very sorry. I'm just going to be up. Before I go off, I just would like to pay my humble obeisances to you and all goes to Srila Prabhupada in your preaching. Every class you're enlightening us something different. And I'm taking, like every time I think like I'm just a newcomer in the class. Amazing. Always getting so much knowledge from you. Thank you so much for giving your so precious time to us and giving this class is just amazing. I have no words. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for encouraging us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So any reflections, dear devotees, or comments or questions that one may have?
So I have a question, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you
Hare
for your
Krishna,
class.
Savita.
Siddhis. So their siddhis don't. What about them?
The siddhis, the Prapta siddhis, the 8 yogic siddhis, these are siddhis that are attained by the yogis.
Right.
But again, the yogis, those siddhis, they consider to be a distraction. And it is said a devotee, by dint of devotional service, a devotee gets all of the yogic siddhis. Once one visitor, a guest, he asked Swamiji, he asked Srila Prabhupada, he said, Swamiji, I heard you say that if all the yogis, the topmost of the yogis is the bhakti yogi, the devotee. So Swamiji, can you walk on water? And Prabhupada said, that is there. But Prabhupada said, if I was to walk on water, I will only attract those people who want to walk on water. I don't want to attract people who want to walk on water. I want to attract pure souls who want to be pure devotees of Krishna. So these are yogic siddhis that one obtains by the difficult process of Astanga Yoga. That is considered to be a distraction from the topmost goal. One can become smaller than the smallest, one can become heavier than the heaviest, one can manifest so many things, one can expand oneself to many forms. And these Prapta siddhis, generally one aspires for them to attract some attention or to attract some material gain. Prabhupada tells the story of how once in his youth he met and he saw a yogi. And that yogi asked the audience, what fruit would you like to eat? And someone said they would like the best pomegranates from Iran. And within a second, he just did this and he manifested some pomegranates. But Srila Prabhupada said he was not impressed. That person can get the pomegranate and he can eat it, but will that cure them from the cycle of birth and death? Will that give them the darshan of Krishna? So this is all considered to be useless in one sense, useless attainments. These Prapta siddhis, the 8 siddhis. Does that answer your question, Savita?
Yes, because there's 2 types. There's that Nitya siddhis. Is it Nitya? There's another one. Can't remember the other one, but okay. Yeah, thank you.
I think it's apara and para.
Mm-hmm. What is that, Bharati Mataji? Can you explain this, what you just mentioned?
I don't know. There are 2 types of cities, which is apara and para.
Okay.
They represent sort of psychic powers or something.
Okay.
And control of the senses, they say. But I don't know. Do they accomplish these cities with these yogis, or they do not accomplish this? Do they?
They do. They do.
They do.
There's many examples of yogis who accomplish these. And,
but they wouldn't go to Krishna. They can't go to Krishna.
Prabhupada tells the story during the British Raj. There was one yogi. He used to walk around naked. So the British, they arrested him. And they said, we don't like this walking around naked. So they threw him in prison. And this yogi was so powerful that he managed to escape through the keyhole of the prison. And next day they were so surprised they found him outside. And they were thinking, how did you escape? And they put him back in prison. And then he would come out through the keyhole. And eventually they were doing it and he was always escaping. And they said, oh, this is useless, I don't know how he does it, but he's doing this. So they are definitely, they are. He said during Kumbh Mela, there are many yogis that are living in the Himalayas, and some of them have become very, very powerful. And he said during the Kumbh Mela, and especially the Mahakumbh Mela, you see they come out, these powerful yogis.
So are they demigods then, do you think? Are they
No,
demigods?
no, the ordinary living entities who by dint of the Ashtanga yoga process have developed some siddhis, but our Vaishnava process and system, it does not give much importance to those siddhis. It is bhakti that we're interested in.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I totally agree with you, because before coming to Krishna consciousness movement, I was quite interested. I read this book, Autobiography of a Yogi.
Yeah.
All these yogic kriyas are basically an advanced part of Ashtanga yoga, but most of people that I know at least are not even at the first step of having, the moral character, or even go to the second stage of niyam.
Yes.
So most people don't even have a character to qualify to go to the 6th or 7th stage. They are still struggling at first and second stage. So when I read this book, I totally realized the futility of these yogic siddhis. And once I came to Krishna consciousness mission, I could clearly see a shortcut via bhakti yoga to attain what I wanted to.
Yes. And the devotee gets these siddhis, just Krishna bestows. I mean, if you read the biography of Srila Prabhupada, there are some mind-blowing siddhis that Srila Prabhupada had. And time again, devotees say how Srila Prabhupada could just read their minds. He could read. And the devotee, Prabhupada says once in Germany, he was in Germany once, and he was saying that, talking about the yogis, and he says how the yogis, they travel through the sunbeam. And Prabhupada said to Shivananda, he said, actually, I know, I experimented once. So Prabhupada had all of these yogic siddhis, being a pure devotee of the Lord, but he did not want to display, because he knew, he'll attract the wrong type of people, and he was not interested in that at all.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just want to share, in fact, I would like to share that in the group, if you like. Satyanarayan, I think Satyanarayan, Srila Prabhupada's disciple,
yes.
He's speaking how in one airport in the United States, he saw it, and literally some others also saw it, how Srila Prabhupada came up the elevator. Actually, you could really see it was going down, but he was not going down. He was just coming up and coming down. He took a different route, and he's saying, I'm sure there are others also were there. He's really speaking about it. It's like, so whoever can see, they saw it. That's it.
Yes, that's true. Many times, even in Dudumana Maharaj says how he was coming in. He said, literally, I saw Srila Prabhupada, his feet not touching the ground.
Yes, yeah.
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 Yeah, Srila Prabhupada, certainly, there's no doubt about it. He had all of the siddhis, but he gave us something hundreds and millions, unlimited times more valuable.
Than valuable, yeah. Yeah.
So there's a few questions here. So Santosh Sharma is asking, in the purport it states that one first has to become a pure devotee to see the universal form. Is that only if Krishna bestows his grace before we can see him? Yes, that's true. Anybody, to see Krishna, one has to have Krishna's mercy. Otherwise, it's not possible. As Krishna even tells Arjuna, I have to grant you divine vision. And that granting of divine vision is completely Krishna's prerogative. And he will only do that. There's another question on the chat. Hema Mataji. I have heard Prabhupada talking about bhakti is active devotional service. How is this different from devotional service? Yes, Emma Mataji. In his definition of pure devotional service in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami says that Anya Bilashita Shunya Jnana Karmadi Anavrita Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. And one of the characteristics of pure devotional service, he explains it has to be active, because devotional service means serving. And there's these 9 items of serving, either by chanting, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving. So devotional service simply means activity. And I have not heard, how is that different from devotional service? There is potentially another type of devotional service called Shantaras. And that Shantaras could be where one sees the Lord, one appreciates the Lord, but there is no real active service. And that is Dasya Ras, which means servitorship, is above Shanta Ras. So that's essentially the difference between Shanta Ras and Dasya Ras and above, active devotional service. Does that answer your question, Emma Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Is it based on the mood of how you perform devotional service then? Is it linked to
Yes,
mood?
The mood is, it is a higher stage where you want to do something. As Prabhupada says, or we know, love is not a noun. Love is a verb.
Yes.
Love is not a noun, it's a verb. It means to do. So if you just sit and not do, then that's not devotional service.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Any other questions, comments, or reflections? I think there was something coming on the chat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I just, it was not very clear to me when you said that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was angry on that Vaishnava, or who was hiding under the cupboard. Why? Because he had desire to see the Lord, but still, why? I mean, Lord Chaitanya was not happy for him.
The reason Lord Chaitanya was not happy with him was because of his consciousness. His consciousness was focused on attaining the Lord through penance and austerity. Like being a brahmachari, being celibate, eating only once a day. So his focus of service was austerity. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give devotional service. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach that not by penance and austerity can you get Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not happy with his consciousness. But when, after being chastised, he showed great appreciation for the holy name and the Sankirtan Yagya, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy with him. He says, now you've realized. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed him. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Prabhupada says, they came to give something very unique, which is pure devotional service, which was never given before. And anything that fell short of pure devotional service, Mahaprabhu decried and spoke out against it. Because these other processes are distractions. They are distractions. They cannot give the soul what the soul really desires. So you can see all of our acharyas coming in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have the similar mood. Anything that falls short of pure devotional service, they speak out very strongly against it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you, Mataji?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. And also, is that mean that that chanting is the best devotional service? Chanting the holy name?
Yeah,
or
yes, Srila Prabhupada said, in this age of Kali, the best the best service is chanting the holy name of Krishna. It's very pleasing to the Lord. Chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Okay. One announcement, dear devotees. I'm sure there are some of you that very much like to recite the Sanskrit verses in our chat group, but you may feel some hesitancy. You may feel that you are not up to it, but we would like to encourage everyone to chant. So one of our chat members who is very expert in chanting the Sanskrit verses and the meters is our Divya Gaurangi Mataji. And she's offering a service that whoever likes to learn, she has a group. And Divya Gaurangi Mataji, if you can just remind me, please, what time you start this group?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. My Dandavat Pranam to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, we just started today and 6:30 to 7 p.m.
6:30 to 7 p.m. All right. So you can get in touch with Divya Gaurangi Mataji. And how can they get in touch with you, Mataji?
I can share my phone number here, Prabhuji, and even Hema Mataji. They can either tell me or Hema Mataji, and either one of us can add them to the group, and Zoom link will be shared in the group.
All right. Okay, this is a nice initiative.
Prabhuji, yeah, we are trying to do this maybe 3 or 4 times a week. It's not every day because we are all attending other classes also in the evening. So.
Okay, that's wonderful. The more we chant and feel confident chanting, the more purified we become. So I won't close the. I won't stop the chat now. So if you can put the numbers and others can see it there.
Okay, I'll put it now.
All right. Any other comments or questions or reflections anyone has would like to share today? All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Divya Gaurangi Mataji has shared a number on the chat group. You can find it there. Thank you very much. All glories to your service of hearing and chanting Bhagavad Gita and giving your time to Krishna consciousness. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpa tarabhyascha
Kripa Sindhu Evita Patitane Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Thank you.
Chalo bhai. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Come on,